Okay, let's talk through all these golf events that you have coming up.
Gabby, I'm glad you asked. Got my calendar right here. July 17th at Red Run, and then July 31st, I have the American Golf Outing for the Cancer Society.
I also have the American Cancer Society golf outing on the 31st, and also I got yours on the 18th, buddy.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be
Whoa, boys, these are a lot of events and golf outings.
Well, you want me to miss my own golf tournament?
Gabby, they're all great golf.
I mean, this
Okay,
is.
hold on. I got this. Guys, I got this. Don't worry about it. Hold on a second.
He always.
Hey guys, thanks for coming so fast. How are ya?
Remember the guys from Randy Wise, right? Sir. The Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
Watch for the eye.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports. And some, well, not so much. Brought to you in part by Premier Security Solutions, Fairway Packing Company, and Swiss Insurance. Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights Live on woodwardsports.com. I am Spencer Angster. He is Madge Jr., a.k.a. Booner.
Madge Jr.
We got Chris Platty in the TD booth, as always, JB Smooth on the ones and twos, and Lucas Klotz in the Maz chair. So, Easy, as you know, is out on a wedding date. He's going with some hot girl to a wedding. Like, bro's fucking jerking it in his room right now. But we got a lot to talk about today, a lot of different things. I'm excited to have some different perspectives because, you know, Easy, he's a chore on the desk, man. It's tough dealing with him for too long. But no, I'm
You can
happy
deal
to
with me
have
for
you.
2 hours.
You excited?
Oh, brother, I've been ready for
I
this.
told you better not fuck up.
You kind of made me nervous going through this. I've been on the desk 100 times
It's a
now.
lot of responsibility.
Right now, being on the heavyweights on the desk, I'm shaking
This
a
isn't
little bit.
fucking Believe Me Later. This isn't the Lions post-game show.
Pre-game show.
Pre-game show. You know.
College football pregame
This is
show.
the real deal.
I know people in the chat. I'm always in the chat. I was
Booner.
built for this show.
You're Booner.
I'm Booner. I was built for this.
He is Booner.
I've drank like 4 energy drinks. I'm ready to 2 hours. Like,
All right, let's start off easy. Let's start it with a little fluffer.
All right.
What are you doing for Memorial Weekend?
oh man, that's a tough question actually.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. No, I'm literally, honestly, this weekend all I'm gonna do is I've already texted one of my friend from Australia. Shout out Australia, great second greatest country in the world. I'm just gonna get some beers, hot dogs, and burgers, and I'm just gonna go grill out for the whole weekend.
Fuck yeah.
That's it.
That's what I like to hear.
That's a Booner weekend.
Shout out Australia. First Booner soundbite. Lucas, you got any plans for the weekend?
Going back to the TOL.
Oh,
Unfortunately, I got to make that trip back to Toledo. Not excited for it, but I'm excited to see the family. I think the niece and nephew are coming to town. It is their birthday, so Uncle Luke will give them something nice. But yeah, nothing too hype.
Uncle
Too
Klotzy.
crazy?
Nah.
Chris, you got anything planned?
As of now, no. I'm figuring stuff out. I'm gonna have a bonfire with a few of my friends tomorrow night, and other than that, I don't know what I'm doing on the actual day. We'll figure it out. We'll probably some hoops if
fair.
it's nice out. I definitely want to hoop
Don't
during
come
the day.
in Mama's paint. Number one, come in Mama's
Do
paint.
not come in Mama's paint. That is the wrong move.
That is the wrong move. JB, birthday weekend, Memorial weekend.
Yep.
You got to have something planned.
I actually don't have a ton of things planned. I know I'm going out to dinner with my parents and my girl, of course, obviously. But other than that, it's just a chill weekend. But Lucas, since you're going back to Ohio, I might need you to pick me up something.
Well, what would that possibly be?
Shit.
It's some drinks. Don't
JB's
worry.
flipping work through Ohio. He's got work flipping on the turnpike.
Mule.
Yeah, hell yeah. Can you fit a balloon in your butt?
It's a great movie, by the way, Mule.
Never seen
Is that
it.
what they do?
Yeah, they
Put balloons in their butt?
There's drugs in the balloons, and they put them up their butt.
Oh wow, sounds like a
You'd be good at
catheter
it.
for the butt.
No, it's the opposite.
You know?
Do you know what a catheter is?
Yeah, I've learned about this a couple weeks ago, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a.
What's your thoughts on catheters?
Sound painful, but I'm pretty sure there's like a balloon like that goes up there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why it's the
Yeah,
opposite.
it's not like a blown up balloon.
When I
it's-
first heard it, I thought it was, and then I realized it was
It's
not.
a deflated balloon
Yeah.
full of drugs.
Yeah. Well, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
The catheter?
That's why I had you take that trip the other night, and then you passed out, and you don't know what happened. You woke up, and you're on the ride home.
And there was a balloon next to me?
Yeah.
I don't remember that night.
Yeah, it was a good night. It was a good night. Made a lot of money. But we appreciate you all for tapping in again to the Woodward Heavyweights. And obviously, we got a lot to talk about the Lions. Somebody else is getting suspended from this team. Undisclosed player is going to get suspended because of gambling. But first things first, last night, Celtics Heat. Celtics got the win again, forcing a Game 6. Can they really do this? Can they pull it off? Can they be the first team to win a series after going down 3-0?
I don't think so at all. I'm the biggest bandwagon fan on the Hemi Butler train. And, I mean, coming back from 3-0, 4 straight games, especially after losing 2 at home, I can't see it happening. I guess you can say the Celtics are the more talented team.
Yes.
And if any team in NBA history has been down 3-0, that might be the most talented team to be down 3-0. So that's like the only argument you can give me. But the Heat going back home, Hemi Butler, Eric Spoelstra, like they're gonna have the best. This is Game 7 for them.
Even without Gabe Vincent, Caleb Martin got an injury yesterday. I don't know about like what the status is on that, but
I just think Eric Spoelstra, like he knows this is a Game 7. Like they go back to Boston, done. It's done. I mean, look at what Jason Tatum did Game 7 last series.
Yeah.
50 points. Like the crowd was all in it. They just dominated that game. They go win this game tomorrow. Series is over. Hemi Butler.
Wow. Lucas, how do you feel?
I mean, I think the Heat are going to win, and even if they don't, I still have faith in Eric Spoelstra and the Heat to get this done because I know, like, right now in the moment, it's like Boston's a more talented team. But in my opinion, I think for Joe Mazzulla and the Celtics to go 4 games in a row on Eric Spoelstra, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and the Heat is way more improbable than the Heat getting 1 more game on them. I know all the math that Neil and Flannel were breaking down earlier, like it all favors Boston, but the math and the facts of it's just 3-0 doesn't ever come back from, and I just don't think that's still going to happen with Eric Spoelstra especially.
That's fair. Chris, you watch a lot of basketball? You like basketball?
Yeah,
You think you act like you know stuff about basketball?
Big basketball guy.
Big basketball guy, in other words. How are you feeling about this?
One would say a savant.
Maybe even a savant.
I just think it's gonna go to Miami. I think Miami's too talented. Spoelstra's gonna out-coach Joe Mazzulla all day, and all it takes is 1 Jimmy game. Again, the margin for error. Yes, Boston's a more talented team, but the margin for error for them is 0. They can't have a bad Tatum game. They can't have a bad Jaylen Brown game. And this team already has 5 home playoff losses. So I'm not even counting Miami out if it goes 7. Like, I'm just going to ride with Miami until they lose. If they lose, that's just how I look at it. No team's ever come back from 3-0, and until one does, then I'll believe it. But till then, no.
All right. You had something to say?
Yeah, that's just what I was gonna say. It's like everybody's like, oh, if this goes back to Boston, it's a wrap. It's like, no. If you really go back and watch Boston's playoff history over the last couple of seasons, like it's not what you'd expect. It's not like they carry the same impact from regular season where they're pretty much lights out, and then it changes up in the playoffs. It really does, and especially with the first-year head coach with Mazzulla, I am not confident even if Boston wins tomorrow.
In that defense, though, I mean the Celtics. I mean if they win tomorrow and go Game 7 at home, they just won a Game 7 a couple weeks ago, and they're on a 3-game win streak versus this team. Like to me, like that's going to be Celtics -6.5 going into Boston. Like I think it's like the Heat just can't put themselves in that position, and like this last game. The Celtics had 4 guys score 20-plus points.
Yeah.
Like you won't see that next game.
And how crazy is it that like Gabe Vincent is a deciding factor of this series? Like, oh fuck, they're missing Gabe Vincent. They might not win. They're like, who is that? Oh, it's another just undrafted free agent that the Heat put out there that's been balling. So we'll see. There's a lot going on, and it's an exciting weekend for sports. But another exciting Detroit sport. The Tigers. We finally get to talk about the Tigers because fucking Stupid Easy isn't here, fucking loser.
The Tigers are back, baby.
Yeah, they are 2 games out of first place. Don't think about their record. Don't think about the division. But like, are you buying into the hype of the Tigers?
I'm buying all the way in. I'm buying it. Listen, their next 9 games, they play the White Sox 6 times in the next 9 games. Don't ignore the number of the 6 out of 9, but they've 6 out of the next 9 games they play the White Sox. They could go on a 6-game win streak, or they've already won 2 straight. They play them. They're probably starting in the next hour. They could really go on a streak here and win the 6 of their next 8 or 9 games and legit take over the division like that. They haven't even played the Twins yet. They haven't played the Twins all year. Yeah. They could play the Twins. They have 2 series in a couple weeks, and they could just dominate them and just they might not have that great of a team on paper, but they might win this division.
Division is trash.
Think about a couple years ago. Who was it? Atlanta or no? Oh, who was it that won the World Series and they were just trash all year?
Cardinals.
It might have been the Cardinals. No, it was
It might have been the Braves.
Washington.
Yeah.
Washington. They were trash all year, but all you have to do, just get in the postseason, bats get hot, it's over. If they just get in the postseason, I just want to see playoff sports in Detroit. If they do that, and the Tigers are the one team out of any team in Detroit to make a run, I don't know what.
So
I might
you're buying
run a
all the
naked
way
mile.
in.
I don't know.
You're buying all the way in.
I think so. I mean, I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying the position and division they're in, it's easy to buy into this team just to say that, like, they're 2 games out and they're not playing great.
Yeah, they're playing terrible. They haven't, like you said, they haven't played a lot of games against the AL Central, which is by far the worst division in the MLB right now. So hopefully they can go out there, they can eat up against some lower competition and make a move for that first place, because 2 games out it's not an insurmountable lead by any chance.
No.
What are the Booner Sportsbook odds of the Tigers winning the division?
Ooh, winning the division?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, plus 300, and we're hammering it. Like we are hammering. I would love to look up to see what the actual odds are, though.
Yeah.
Because I actually might hammer it. They play the Twins the next couple weeks. They have two series versus them. If they're just 500 in that series, they're right in this thing.
There we go. You going down to Comerica Park at all?
I haven't yet.
I still got to do the 999 challenge.
So I text you. I did the 999 last year.
Yeah.
And I got dominated by the beer or the hot dogs.
Yeah.
I drank all the beers, 9 beers, and I was pretty messed up. I was like, oh, here we go.
Yeah, what beer did you drink?
Coors Light, I believe.
Was it the tall boys or?
The ones that they give you. They don't have any other sizes. So
yeah.
Really, when you drink 9 beers, it's like 13 beers or whatever. Do the math. For me, it was like I don't know. But
it's
the hot
just a
dogs.
Tuesday night, brother.
Yeah. I'm doing it with you though.
All right.
I'll probably fail again. I might just keep failing it just for fun.
What's up, JB?
I was gonna tell Booner for the division winners for the Tigers, it's plus 1,700.
Plus 1,700.
You're kidding.
So, no, JB just
plus
looked it up.
1,700. You know I'm a degenerate gambler. I just looked on FanDuel right
Yeah.
now.
Are we all going to agree in this room that we're all going to put some money on that?
No.
No? Okay, I'll do it.
But your sportsbook odds were plus 300.
They're 2 games back. I don't know.
it's not even June yet.
I don't work at a sports book.
Yeah. All right. Well,
I have my own sports book in my head, though.
Yeah. What's that called?
The Booner Sportsbook.
Booner Sportsbook. Well, if you're giving out plus 300 odds for the Tigers to win the division, I don't think a lot of people are going to be taking up the Booner Sportsbook. But Chris, actually, let's do this right now. Obviously, we're going to talk about Lions. We're going to do a lot of different things. And the Lions posted a hype video for week 1 of OTAs so far. Just so to get that fucking Honolulu blue juice flowing. Let's see that. Chris, can you roll that for us?
Let's watch this.
This is the kind of shit I need right now. I know you're talking about the Tigers, Booner, like you think the Tigers are going to be good, but this is what I need. Right
This pumps me up.
This is hot mics now too. So
that looks like a Super Bowl.
Oh my God, bro, you need to relax.
Let me get my hype in, man.
Look at that, Megatron back in the fold. Brad Holmes looking like a straight gangster. Captain Jack, who's 59? Because didn't
That's that linebacker we brought in from around here.
Oh, okay.
Saginaw?
I was gonna say because James Houston changed his number, right? James
Trevor
Houston
Nowatzki.
changed his number to 41 or something like
Did he? I
that. I
didn't
can't
get that.
remember. Yeah, he changed his number back to what he was wearing at Jackson State.
Did he?
Yeah.
Shout out to Trevor Nowatzki, though. Saginaw Valley, I know him.
That's your boy?
Went to Saginaw with him.
Call him up. Bring him on the show.
I was just messaging him the other day. Good dude, though.
And DNC ENT in the Woodward Sports chat says Hutch got so much bigger. It's man's looking thick.
What did I
thick.
Before the show I told you that he in the press conferences he said that he changed up his diet, he got a chef. He said last year in the interview that he was just after every practice and game he would just go get takeout and like just go get food somewhere. He said in this offseason he realized like he lost a bunch of weight. He was like he had like a little bit of, I don't know if he said flubber or what he said, kind of looking like me a little bit. And then he got a chef, and he was like, I'm lean now.
Yeah.
Like, he looks like he's taking that rookie year jump, and he's going to be legit.
Dude's going to be a monster. I'm really excited for it. And, you know, one way that he got into shape, I've heard, is he went to Planet Fitness, because Planet Fitness is the home of the judgment-free zone, and they're happy to welcome back the high school summer pass, because high schoolers ages 14 to 19 in the United States and Canada can work out for free all summer long from May 15th through August 31st. You can also enroll to win a piece of $200,000 for high schools and students. All you got to do is take a TikTok video, post it, tag Planet Fitness, and use a couple of hashtags. If you're not a high school student, you can still work out at Planet Fitness. Memberships start at $10.99, or you can get the black card for $24.99 with all the amenities. So join in club or online. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on WoodwardSports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. Again, the man to my left, Baby Maz, also known as Booner. I am Spencer Raxter. We got Chris Platty and JB and Lucas in the Maz chair. So I alluded to it a little bit earlier, but the Lions are having another player suspended for gambling concerns. It was a nice booty. I saw you check it out.
I have no clue what you're talking about.
Nice little booty walking by.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah, but the Lions will have another player suspended. It is an unknown player. It hasn't been made available to the public yet what player it is, but it said it's not somebody that had a big impact on the team's success last year. So what do you make of this? Are you worried about it, or is it just...
To be honest, I'm not worried about it at all, especially if it's not like a player that had any impact last season. The only thing, like, as a gambling person, these small, and I get it, there's rules and there's regulations that these players like have in place where like they learn like what's right and what's wrong. You can't gamble on the property, but I just think it's ridiculous that the NFL is suspending some of these guys for 6 games. Like this is it's kind of like not getting out of hand, but it's like, what are we doing here?
It's stupid, man.
Yeah,
it's
like 6 games.
J-Mo was making bets on college basketball in the fucking parking lot, and you're gonna say, like, get over it.
And it's like there's so many, like, you're allowed to bet when you drive across the street, and I get that there's these rules that you can't do it. But Roger Goodell came out in a couple days ago when he did his press conference and said, hey, we're still like figuring this stuff out. It's like, so if you're still figuring this stuff out, why are you suspending guys for almost a half a season for these things that you still don't have figured out? Like, what are we doing here? Now, I will say, like, I will put it out there. I know there's people on different shows who are like, you should be able to gamble on NFL games. I don't think that should be allowed. Like, I'm the one that, as a gambler, like, that shouldn't be allowed, because then you, like, the year suspension for Calvin Ridley, I agree with that. Because if you start letting them people gamble on different games, there's such a slippery path, and it's like
shaving points, shit like that.
and you might think, oh, there's no way, like, they already talked to each other. It's like, yeah, but like, something like in 20 years, you're going to end up seeing a 30 for 30 of some players like winning millions of dollars because they knew to take an under on a guy's receiving yards.
Yeah.
Because they talk, like, we just can't do that. But these small, like, little 6-game one, like, that just needs to end. If the NFL doesn't have it together, they shouldn't be suspending these guys. Like it's insane that these many guys are getting suspended.
Yeah, Lucas, how do you feel about this?
Same type of thing. I mean, it's annoying to hear just because all the noise it's going to bring to the Lions. But at the end of the day, I don't think anything big's going to come out of it. It was, they said, not a significant player. So I'm not sweating it at all. It's going to be annoying, but I don't think it's going to change much. And I agree with both you guys. The fact that these people are getting suspended for, I mean, I get CJ Moore and Cephas and the guys that were betting on NFL things. You got to keep the integrity, but J-Mo, I don't see the point of it, especially when you look back at the history of the league and what people have done and got suspended for less. It makes no sense.
Yeah, and Adam Baydoun makes a good point in the Woodward Sports chat. You know, some loser named Adam Baydoun. He says integrity of the NFL is non-negotiable, protected at all costs. Yeah, you know, unless it comes to like beating your wife or your child or drunk driving or murdering somebody or anything like that, it's all right. The integrity doesn't take too big of a hit. But if he's betting on college basketball, fuck no, give him the fucking banhammer. Like this shit is just comical to me at this point.
Dude, it is insane. Like, what's the difference of letting them bet on property, and then if they bet on an NFL game, being like, you're done, like that's a year. Like, just let them do it, and then if someone makes that mistake, like if you want to be like, oh, it's a slippery slope, they can be talking about the NFL in the locker room. Okay, they shouldn't bet on it, and they know that. That's the most obvious rule of all. Like, if you're that stupid, like, what are we doing here? But also, yeah, the loser Adam in the chat.
Yeah,
I wanted to throw that in there.
All right, Lucas, are you worried about the player that it could be? They said it's a non-essential player or whatever the hell they said about it.
As long as it is not Jared Goff, David Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, those key figures, which you already know it's not, I do not care. As long as the Lions have their core players healthy week 1, that's all that matters.
What if it's Tom Kennedy?
Could be Tom Kennedy.
There would be no chance.
There's a chance.
Tom Kennedy knows that I don't want to badmouth him, but he knows he's got to be fighting for a roster spot.
Yeah,
he's been on the practice squad.
Well, so does fucking Quinton Cephas and.
But he was what was he, 3rd round?
Yeah,
3rd round pick. I mean, Tom Kennedy's coming from Bryant, the lacrosse team, and he's fighting tooth and nail. If he's betting on it, I think he would be the most idiotic person on the team to do that.
Hal 9000 said, Badgley. What if it was Badgley?
That's why they brought Patterson.
Yeah.
We're not dragging the guy through the mud.
Another point with that, Lucas, is like you're like, yeah, it's a roster spot. Like he knows, like he can't do anything stupid. Like the same thing with JMO. If like what JMO said, he didn't even know. Like if they truly didn't know, and he just had no clue that this was coming until it came. Same thing with the Tom Kennedy. Yeah. Pause. But same thing with Tom Kennedy. You had me there. Like he might not have known, and it's just coming. Like, I'm not saying it's Tom Kennedy. That was a joke.
Like, why are we making?
Why are you just zoning in on Tom Kennedy? It was him. It was TK.
We're talking about players that like need a roster spot. That's literally what it is. It's like a guy that didn't make an impact, and he's like now his career is probably over. We saw the we saw the Lions let go of 3 or 4 guys because of this already that had no impact last year. So whoever this is probably going to get let go because those other guys did as well. And they probably just had no clue what was going on until yesterday, and they probably got a phone call like, hey, yeah, you're going to get suspended and cut.
It's a cold world, man. It's a cold world. Like Adam said, the integrity of the NFL cannot be questioned. It's very tough. It's a very tough situation to be in. But outside of that, in other NFL news today, DeAndre Hopkins was released by the Arizona Cardinals.
No, God, please, no.
The man, the myth, the legend. Obviously, the easy thing is to say, come to Detroit, bring him to Detroit. And there's DeAndre Hopkins saying, thank you, AZ, always love. But, like...
Who's he catching that pass on?
Looks like Harrison Smith.
Yeah.
But what is the landing spot for DeAndre Hopkins? The easy, obviously, it's going to be the Lions. It's not up to you. It's up to him who he signs with. Where do you think he ends up?
I think there's an obvious team, and I'm not going to say the Detroit Lions, but there is an obvious team. I think DeAndre Hopkins ends up on the Kansas City Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes.
Fuck, dude.
Look, if you just look at their...
oh, my God.
Yeah, look at their wide receiver room. They don't have anyone... Like, they have some dudes. Kadarius Toney's their number 1 right now. You throw D-Hop in there, and, I mean, this is a team that every year after year, they want to compete for a championship. They have one of the best players of all time. They have a short window to win as many as they can. You can get D-Hop at $15 million. They just got rid of Juju, and they don't have that contract anymore. I mean, they lost a couple. I think they have the money to go do it. I think you see them do it. I think DeAndre Hopkins is on the Kansas City Chiefs.
That'd be nasty. Lucas, you got a landing spot for
He's going to be a Buffalo Soldier. It's pretty much been aligned. We saw Buffalo go get Von Miller last year, and he's been openly admitting wanting to play with Josh Allen. And if you could imagine what Stephon Diggs and DeAndre Hopkins, that would be one of the best wide receiver duos that in recent memory. That'd be like a Chris Carter, Randy Moss type of thing. Now, Randy Moss is a fucking specimen, but those two guys are like Chris Carter level. So I would love to see him there. I think it's a fit that they need because we saw that after like Diggs kind of got the defense bracket him, they needed another they need another player because Gabe Davis didn't step up, and that's what they need.
Yeah.
Perfect combo.
I don't hate Buffalo. I think Baltimore stands out as well
I don't
because
know.
he made his list of demands for like the next team he plays for, and it was like a quarterback that loves football, good front office and head coach, and a great defense. And it's like,
You just named the Detroit Lions.
yeah, you think it's gonna happen?
And I saw
Sit there and tell me you think he's gonna be a Lion.
No, I don't think so, but I think it's like, as a Lions fan, you guys can all here agree with me on this, even in the chat. It's like, for years, anytime a big free agent or anyone that wanted to get traded was on the market, it was never like, oh, the Detroit Lions. Now where it's like the coolest thing to be able to be like, D-Hop gets on the market, and we're all like, that's actually an option.
Yeah.
That's sick. But Baltimore, they just signed Odell to, what, $16 million?
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them going another 16 at a receiver, especially two old receivers, 16 each. I guess it could be a one-year deal, but I see it more happen with like Kansas City or the Bills.
But Kansas City had to cut Frank Clark. They had to move on from Orlando Brown. Like, I don't think D-Hop's looking for a payday at this point. Like, I think he would accept less money to play for a team that he thinks is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I saw the Chargers, but again, I don't think they have the cap. And then obviously everybody's been saying the Patriots too because with Belichick. But
Yeah.
I
Who
don't
would want to
think-
go
that's
fucking
what I'm
catch
saying.
balls from Mac Jones? Like, get the fuck out of here.
2023
Or
Fuck
Bailey
no.
Zappi.
Or Bailey Zappi.
I could see the Chargers too, especially with Keenan Allen kind of on his way
if
out.
they cut
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, would it make sense to cut Keenan Allen and then sign DeAndre Hopkins? Like,
I think like D-Hop last year, he played 9 games, and like he put numbers up. Like, put him on the Chargers.
oh, he's still a dog.
Yeah.
He is still a dog.
A contending team can go win a Super Bowl with him. And I mean, to me, that's a perfect fit. The Chiefs, like, they need a guy like that. Like him and Travis Kelce would be like. I mean, we have to see him week 1 if that happens.
Oh
I
my
forgot.
God, dude.
Giants would be a good
I
spot
completely
for him.
forgot.
Giants could be a
That'd
spot.
they can give him money. That'd be a big market. They got a good defense.
Now
They-
he'd be wide receiver 1
Yeah,
immediately.
Daniel Jones has never had a
What did he
legitimate
say?
wide
What kind of
receiver.
quarterback did he want?
A quarterback that loves football.
I don't know if Daniel.
You questioning Danny
Those-
Dimes'
Bro, he
integrity?
was,
Yeah,
he was
no, I
getting
am.
smacked around last year.
Yeah. I mean, I'm questioning it for sure.
Really?
No way.
Yes.
He doesn't look like an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
But like, I think that man's dedicated to the game. He balled out last year with nothing around him, and he didn't.
He also
complain about
said he
shit.
wants to be on a clear contender, which is why I don't think the Giants are. That was like one of his conditions was a clear contender. So I don't think the Giants
Jags
are
would be
one.
nice.
Booner, fuck you for saying he goes to the Chiefs. 'Cause
Well, I didn't think about that. I mean, that's just like the first thing popped in my head is the Chiefs have no receivers that are like a star receiver. They just have a bunch of average guys. Like, we might have to go up against DeAndre Hopkins week 1. I'm sorry.
No, we won't, because I heard he was in the parking lot just throwing on games.
that's
betting
true.
But I don't
Yeah,
care.
that's true.
We have
I
Cam
heard
Sutton
DeAndre
anyways.
Hopkins is a big guy who bets on a lot of football games. I'm just saying, unless he goes to
In
the
parking lots.
In parking lots.
I heard he took the under on the Cardinals win total last year. Cashed in for like $1 million.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good bet. But
It's a pretty smart bet.
you know, if you want to insure that bet and make sure you're getting something out of it, what would you do to do that?
Well, you would get Swiss insurance, man. If you want insurance, like the Lions need insurance in that wide receiver room, you know where to go. It's Swiss Insurance. Hit up our guy Mark at SwissINS.com. Send him your request on where you think DeAndre Hopkins should go. Get Mark Swiss Insurance. That's Mark Swiss Insurance at Swiss Insurance Group. Mark at SwissINS.com. We are the Woodward Heavyweights, and we'll be right back.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. And if you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. You might be saying right now, hey, Easy really is a white man. But no, Easy is out. He's got a wedding to go to. And so we have my guy Booner.
I'm easy.
Filling
I'm easy
in
today.
Yeah, he's easy. But, well, welcome
Maz
back.
Jr.
Make sure you smash the like button. It really helps out a lot. We just got done talking about DeAndre Hopkins getting dropped and where we think he's going to land. Maybe Detroit's a fit, maybe not. But we know somebody new in Detroit, and that's Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. This is his first year with the Lions, obviously. Signed a 1-year deal in the offseason. And Lions veteran safety Tracy Walker had some words about him at OTAs today. Let's hear that, Chris.
First impressions of CJ?
Definitely a character. I loved it. Me and him have a lot of similarities. We love talking our trash, so it's going to be a lot of trash talking this year. Stay tuned in for that. Honestly, his just energy. He's a very energetic guy, and like I said, you know, we got a lot of guys right now who's going to bring a lot of energy and it's going to make a lot of plays. So honestly, like I said, it's exciting to see. I hate that I can't be out there with him, so I got to watch and support from the side, talk my trash to the offense on the side. So.
You love to hear that. You love to hear that. Bringing energy, talking trash, making plays. Like, that's what you need out of a secondary member. That's what you need out of somebody back there. And that's what we know that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson does. He talks shit. He goes up. In Matt Broder's reports, he said he's chirping with anybody in the offense that was in his vicinity. And I fucking love that shit. Like, I need my defensive backs out there talking shit. I love to hear that. Booner, how you feeling about the energy and the shit talking that CJ is bringing to that line secondary?
I'm pumped. And just GJ, Cam Sutton. I mean, I heard Tracy Walker talking about too, like someone asked him about his leadership, and he's like, listen, we're all leaders in the secondary right now. We have so many veterans in the back there now that like you don't know, like you have, like you're just constantly going to be rotating these veterans in. Tracy Walker, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, Mosley, like Kirby Joseph is a second-year guy who Tracy Walker said the same thing about him, like his energy, like these guys, it's just this defense in general. Like this defense is pumped. They're ready to go. They're legit. Like in these conversations, they are saying Super Bowl in these words. They're talking about energy. Like this is what you want in your culture. This is what Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, that's a big thing of it is Aaron Glenn's got these guys going. Mm-hmm. At the beginning of last year, I know there was, Defend the Glenn, like all of that. Aaron Glenn has these guys going. He's got veterans back there now. Like, he's going to have his best years at DC that he's ever had. Like, it pumps me up. Yeah. Especially when I hear the word Super Bowl anytime in any of these conversations. It's like, oh, let's go.
JB, how you feeling about the energy that Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is bringing to this line secondary?
Dude, it's nice. It's refreshing because now you're going to get that really intense combat on the field out there in OTAs. If you got one person, as you said, talking shit across the field to you, that's going to elevate your level of play right there because you don't want them showing you up. That's for damn sure. So they're going to be out there fighting, chirping at each other, and honestly, it's going to be scary seeing this defense on the field from week one. Chiefs, watch out.
Yeah, and it's. I heard a couple things in there that I love to hear is energy, shit talk, and playmaking.
Yep.
And like that's what this guy does. That's what this guy was for New Orleans for the beginning of his career and for Philadelphia last year. Like he makes plays. This is a guy that was shit talking Tom Brady before a game. This is a guy that put his fucking shoulder in the middle of Isaiah Pacheco's chest and put him down. Like he brings the fire and he backs it up. He's not just out there shit talking just to shit talk. He's not Cortland Finnegan. He's not going out there and shit talking Andre Johnson just to get his ass whooped. Like he'll shit talk you to your face and then he'll pick you off because he's that good and he backs it up.
Yeah, and it just gives me more confirmation that the culture is being built the right way. Like you had the first couple years of the regime where it was just, let's get a bunch of guys in that work hard, love the game, cool, build it from the ground up. Now, okay, let's get the guys that love the game but are confident, are full of themselves, but will work hard. Like it seems like everything is happening in a natural progression and an easy progression to follow that makes all of those goals and lofty expectations of Super Bowl and all that just that much more believable because you see the line, you see the train of development in every way in both the talent and in just the culture and the environment of the team.
Yeah, and like when we went into detail yesterday with our guy Matt Broder's outline on the Detroit Lions OTAs and what's going on, especially with the defense. We've read a lot of different things about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, about Julian Okwara, about Jack Campbell, about Ife Melifonwu, and we were getting so hype about it, and we didn't even fucking mention Aiden Hutchinson or James Houston, who are probably the most important players on that defense. The guys that'll rip the quarterback's head off. The number one or number 2 overall draft pick from last year, and guys that are looking to make a huge step forward next year. So I'm excited to see what they can do. And having a secondary like this now, with a Cam Sutton, with a Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, with Emmanuel Mosley or Jerry Jacobs, whoever that is, Kirby Joseph and Tracy Walker on the back end, gives those guys, the James Houstons, the Aiden Hutchinsons, just that fraction of a second more to get to the quarterback. Because they're going to have those wide receivers clamped down. So now they have that extra second to get to the quarterback.
Hutch even said that in his interview yesterday. He was like we noticed with Brad Holmes is he didn't really touch the defensive line because he felt like that Brad Holmes trusted those guys. He trusts Aiden Hutchinson, James Houston, McNeil. Like he trusts those guys, and he added pieces behind them, and that's exactly what Hutch said. He said those guys are going to give us more times to get to the quarterback, and we're going to make plays, and that's what you want to hear. And even to the point with C.J. Gardner-Johnson is like that edge he brings, the trash talk that he has. He, like you said, he backs it up. He led the league in interceptions last year with 6. We also have a guy back there, Kirby Joseph, who had 4 interceptions. So, like, we have ball hawks in the back now behind Aiden Hutchinson. We have veteran corners with Mosley, with Cam Sutton. We have Jerry J. Like, they built up that secondary to really let these frontline guys just go to work. Like, I was thinking about it today when I was driving here. I wouldn't be surprised if Aiden Hutchinson, and this might be, I don't know if it's a hot take or how many sacks everyone in here thinks he's going to have.
What's your number?
I think he gets 15 at least.
Ooh, I said 13.5.
Like, if you really think about it, what they added in that secondary, like from what he did last year, to hear the conversations that he had in OTAs already about how he's gotten more lean, how he feels stronger, how he feels that much better, and then you can make the argument, he's going to get doubled. He did last year too.
Yeah.
And he made plays. And that was with the secondary that struggled a little bit outside of Kirby, like with Tracy Walker down. So you add all of these veterans now on that defense, he is going to be the heart of that front line there with Jack Campbell at linebacker, upgraded linebackers. Aiden Hutchinson could be at 15 sacks. Yeah. I would not be surprised at all.
That's a steep number. I have him at 13.5, but I don't hate it because, like you said, man, that's giving them that extra second. How many times did we see it last year where Hutch or Houston just missed a quarterback, just missed getting to the quarterback, just missed grabbing him, and he got the ball off? Now they're going to have to think twice because they're throwing it into a secondary that contains guys like that.
On top of that, too, it's like that was Hutch and Houston's rookie year. They're going through that. They're getting all of those sacks while they're still learning the NFL. Like, they were developing, they were learning. Like, there were stretches where Hutch, went through a few games without anything, and we were all like, I remember up here on the some of the pregame shows talking about the week before where it was like, Hutch we didn't really see him last week, and then that week he shows up. So it's like now he is a second-year guy. He is, I could say, potentially a captain on this defense that's going to be talking. Like, he's going to be more consistent. He knows what to come into now. He's got a chef. He's got a new diet. Like, he is locked in. Yeah, I'm excited.
He's growing the flow out too. He said he's got something special and planned for the hair.
I don't know if I like. You got the flow, so I can't say I don't like it. But
you better watch your mouth.
I'll get to some flow too.
JB, you're the degenerate, and now that Booner's on, we got a couple degenerate gamblers in here.
I'm not a degenerate. I'm a pro.
Woodward degenerate.
What is your over under for Aiden Hutchinson's sack total? What would you say that for the JB Sports, the Spike Lee Sportsbook?
Sack wise, I think 15 is a little too high, so I'm leaning towards you, Spencer. Give me 13.
Okay.
I like 13. Just because, last season we seen him just get so close to getting those QB sacks, and right now, with a little bit more time, he'll be able to. So give me 13. I'm not pushing 15. 15 seems to be a lot, especially in the second year. But 13, this should be an easy bet for him to accomplish this year.
And that is one thing I didn't understand when we were going into the draft, where all these pundits, the Mel Kipers, the Todd McShays, the whoever, they were pushing these edge rushers. on the Lions. Like,
Yep.
Tyree Wilson, the Miles Murphy, whoever it was. Like, oh yeah, the Lions could really use some bolstered help there with Aiden Hutchinson. It's like, do you guys just fucking forget about James Houston? Did you forget that Romeo Okwara came back and healthy, and like in his first game back he had like 2 sacks? I don't know, that's pretty good. He was a 10-sack guy when he was healthy. Julian Okwara looked pretty good. You got Pascal from last year who you can move around. I didn't think the edge position was that big of a need, and I think they bolstered the edge position by overhauling the secondary.
John Kaminsky, like they have got, like, even last year, do you remember when John Kaminsky was out and that was kind of that stretch where we lost those 5 games? Like, we had guys that made impacts to like go win football games. I'm with you. I definitely like was kind of questioning, like, why didn't we get, I mean, me and you sat up here on second day of the draft night, like, why aren't you going after a defensive tackle or another edge just to kind of build depth? And now, like, when you look back at it, it's like, whoa. Yeah. It's like a 8th grade dance there. Yeah. But like now you look back at it and they're legit, like they have a little bit of depth. And I know you might want a little bit more, but I mean, once you add to that secondary, you really don't need like I just kept comparing it to the Eagles' depth. I think I just got so caught up in that. Like they went to the Super Bowl. I don't think you need to because of the secondary we have.
I was all in on interior defensive line, but edge rusher, I never really saw the need for it. And that's why when people were saying Tyree Wilson at 6, I was like, we got Tyree Wilson at home in Romeo Okwara. We didn't really need that. So I'm glad that they obviously didn't decide to do that, and that shows that they believe in those guys.
Yep.
That shows that they believe in the Okwaras, in James Houston taking another step, in Charles Harris coming back and having a healthy year. So I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see what those edge rushers can do in this defense. And like we said, man, that secondary, I'm so geeked. I've said they're going to be a top 5 secondary in the NFL. Do you think that's out of bounds?
No, I think that's spot on. With C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, Mosley, Jerry Jacobs, people sleep on. Like that second, Kirby Joseph, Tracy, like that's the rotation there. Like there's never going to be a break whatsoever. Top 5, I mean, you could even argue top 3 with those guys. Like those are legit dudes. Like legit dudes back there. Like Kirby could be like last year, 4 interceptions. He could be a Pro Bowler, like a potential Pro Bowler. Tracy, he has the potential to do something like that. We already know what C.J. Gardner-Johnson can do. Like top 5. I mean, give me top 3.
Whoa.
Give me top 3.
Whoa. Hot take from Booner.
And when D Hop's on the Chiefs, you're gonna see it.
Okay, shut up. You need to stop saying it, because if that happens, I'm finding you. And
you know right where to find me.
And I'm chokeslamming.
I'm here or I'm in the back. You can come find me.
If that happens, I'm blaming you and nobody else but you.
It's just the truth. I mean, I'm an NFL insider. I know what's happening.
True. Booner Schefter. But if you want a great haircut like Booner, there's only one place you can go, and that is Lady Jane's. How would you like to win not 1, but 2 vehicles of your choice? 1 for you and 1 for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get into Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC in Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
The sports marketing agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. Smash that like button. If you're listening on the audio platform, leave a 5-star review. The man to my left, filling in for Easy while he's at a wedding, is the one and only Booner. I am Spencer Raxter. We've got Chris Platty in the TD booth and JB Smooth on the 1s and 2s. So before we left for break, Booner, you made a hot take.
Which one?
You said top 3 secondary.
Oh, top 3.
Top 3.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how that's like a crazy hot take. I mean, they built. We already had Kirby Joseph. Walker's already back there, who's coming off an injury. CJ Gardner-Johnson's one of the best safeties in the whole league.
Yeah.
He led the league in interceptions last year. We literally just sat up here and had a whole segment about the energy in that secondary and that defense. If that's happening right now and that culture's getting built, and you have the talent you have here in this secondary, in the corner room right now, when you added all these veterans, in the safety room when you added all of these veterans, I do not see how you don't have it. I mean, I guess it is a hot take. Top three secondary. I don't know who else. Who would you put above them?
I mean, Miami's going to be up there, obviously, with Xavier Howard, Jalen Ramsey, Byron Jones. They've got a lot of the Bills will be up there if everybody's healthy with Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White. You got to look at New Orleans. Maybe they can bounce back. Marshawn Lattimore plays another great season. But, man, the Chargers are going to be up there. J.C. Jackson, Asante Samuel, Derwin James.
You're going from top 5, and I'm just saying more up. Like, that potential is right there.
I think top 5 is a hot take. I think people would.
I don't think so.
No?
I mean, bro, look what they did. This is like they built this secondary up. Like they didn't. We all were just putting in the chat. Everyone, we talked about it. They didn't touch the defensive line much. They got one linebacker, and all they did on defense is just bring a ton of guys in the secondary. Brian Branch there. Say, he needs to come in and replace someone if something happens. He's there. Like they have depth, and they have like their secondary guy, their second team guys are guys that you could see in a Pro Bowl. Like, it's crazy.
All right. I don't hate it, JB. You think top 3 is a hot take? You think that's a little too far? You got them going to the Super Bowl, so somebody's got to stand out. One position group's got to stand out.
Yeah, that is true, man. I still think it's a hot take, though. I think top 5 is reasonable. Top 5 is very reasonable for this team to accomplish. Top 3. Man, you got to come out the gate swinging if you're top 3. Honestly, like you have to go into KC, and as I said before, the week before, you have to dominate on all aspects of this game, on offense and defense. But as right now, top 3, I'm sorry, Booner. I got to go top 5, man.
Okay, what was our biggest issue on defense last year?
The secondary.
No, run defense, right? Stopping the run.
I don't know.
That
I
was
think
like
that's a little overrated, man.
Okay, so like when we played Green Bay, who made plays to win the game?
The secondary, Kirby Joseph.
And that was a thing when we went 8-2.
Yeah, but you look, what did they do against Saquon Barkley? They shut him down, took him out of the game.
Okay.
That's why you beat.
Agreed.
That's why you beat the Giants. What did they do against Dalvin Cook? They shut him down, took him out of the game. That's why you beat the Vikings in that second game. Like, other than that fucking Carolina explosion, the run defense was looking pretty good at the end of the year. Running backs weren't really doing much against the Lions if you take out Carolina in that great stretch.
I do agree with you. Like, we big time star running backs we did stop, but when you really break it down, like our secondary, like Kirby was great at the end of the year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jerry Jacobs, I don't have the stat in front of me, but I know like whatever his PFF grade was, like one of the best in the NFL. Like, and right now he's fighting for one. Like he's fighting for a spot there. We have a battle in the cornerback room. Like this secondary, I don't know if I'm crazy for this, but just like top 3 secondary is not crazy to me when you add a top 3 safety in the NFL, and you already had 2 safety that's
and
legit.
You get one of the best cornerbacks on the market.
And they're both veterans that are going to be teaching these young, like it's just going to, by the end of this season, this secondary is going to be looked at as a top 3 like secondary in the NFL. I don't see how this is a crazy take.
Realistically, how much of an upgrade is Cam Sutton over Jeff Okudah?
Huge.
Night and day. Night and day upgrade. A huge upgrade.
And that was our biggest weakness last year in our secondary?
Yeah, the corners. I would say.
And what did they do? They went out and got one of the best in the league.
Yeah, and then again, realistically, who's our third safety last year? Will Harris. How big of an upgrade is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson over Will Harris?
Who's our
nickel, Mike Hughes? How big of an upgrade is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson over Mike Hughes?
Who's our third, fourth safety right now on the roster?
Yeah, Brian Branch or Ife Melifonwu.
And Brian Branch is going to be a dog.
Yeah. I don't hate it, man. Top 3 is a little spicy.
I don't think that's crazy.
They definitely their best corner last year was Jerry Jacobs. Best coverage corner last year was Jerry Jacobs. And now he's fighting for that cornerback 2 spot because you got Cam Sutton locked down on the outside. You got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson locked in that slot. and I don't think people are talking about like Tracy Walker coming back enough.
No, hey, bro, you just named those guys you just named are dogs, bro.
Yeah.
Like those are guys that are top 3, top 5 in their position, and you just put them all together in one room. And we just talked about for 20 minutes about the energy that every single one of these guys are bringing, the leadership, and this is OTAs. You still have training camp. You still have preseason. I'm saying by the end of the season, this is one of the best secondaries in the NFL. That is not a hot take.
We're gonna have Matt Broder on next segment to talk about OTAs. We're gonna have him on one segment. He's just gonna be on there for one segment to talk about OTAs. Our Lions beat reporter, because I need to hear some shit. I really do. I loved what he wrote down, but it's just amazing for me to see. And there are a couple things I'm locked in on. There are a couple things that I went to training camp last year. Me and Easy were down there. We were down there at Allen Park, and shit was hype, man. And there are new position battles that I want to see. There are new one-on-ones that I'm gonna be staring at when I go down there again this year. So I'm just extremely excited to see what these guys do, man.
I've never been to training camp. I'm going to go this year, and I hope we see some people that are in the chat and some people who follow Woodward. I'm excited for that too. That's going to be. But these position battles, I cannot wait. Especially like a Cam Sutton, Amon Ra, like these that he literally talked about with wait, can Jameson Williams be at training camp?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's over.
He can be with the team until the regular season
Training
starts.
Camp is going to be it. We're going to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, let's go.
Oh, yeah. I'm calling off BD a couple times during training camp. Gentry, I need you to fill in for me, bud.
Yeah.
Nice. So, because, dude, that shit is lit. Chris, we're going to get you down there, too.
I'm 100%
I want you
down.
to experience that.
I'm there.
JB, I know you never leave this place, but
I know.
If
JB leaves, this place falls apart.
Yeah, if JB leaves, he is the load-bearing wall of Woodward Sports.
Doesn't Jamal Williams owe you something from training camp last year?
Jamal Williams does owe me something.
We need to get that done.
Jamal Williams is gone. He's in New Orleans.
A bet's a bet.
I'm about to fly down to New Orleans and a bet is a bet. Yeah, he
pay
gave
your
me
debts.
He gave me his word. Jamal Williams. Somebody clip this part and tag him on Twitter. Jamal Williams, I gave you a Goku statue at training camp last year. I wrote my name on it. I wrote my phone number on it. I said, you were like, because your whole thing was, you bring me anime stuff, I'll give you stuff. I gave you that. You said, what do you want? I said an interview. And you said, all right, for sure. Write down your number.
You have his phone number?
Where's my interview at, bro? No, he's got mine.
I want it.
Dang, that's where you messed up.
You just ghosted me, bro. You're not a man of your word, and you're gonna badmouth the Lions out the door. Come on, the Woodward heavyweights. Tell us what really went down with the Lions.
You know what really happened is he got 2 big time. He scored
he
17
big time.
touchdowns.
Oh, for sure, big time.
If he scored 10 touchdowns, he would have done it.
Yeah.
But the 17,
Sorry, we got Malcolm on. Malcolm's my guy.
Shout out
I
Malcolm.
got Malcolm's number. Shout out.
Me too.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I know.
But what is one thing you're gonna go down?
Yes.
To training camp this year. We'll get you in there. You've never been. We'll get you in there.
Really?
Yeah, we'll pull some strings. Shout out if Dr. D's in the chat. He hooks it up. Dr. D always gives us some tickets.
Oh,
stuff
shout
like
out
that.
to Dr. D. I think he came in one time. I met him.
But what would you be looking forward to in going to training camp?
To me, honestly, there's two things I'm looking forward to. One is I know Broder put in the notes the things that he's been seeing at OTAs, and that Jameson Williams Cam Sutton matchup. I want to see that in person. I talked to Broder about it in the back before the show. I want to see what Jameson Williams looks like. Like I have no clue. Like he said, he's super tall, lanky. I want to see how big he is. I want to see how fast he is. I know we talked about his double moves and his moves. I want to see him do that in person and see what he's like. I know, and the thing is we're gonna have to wait 6 weeks after the season starts to see it ever again.
Yeah.
I want to see it before that, so I know what to expect.
Bro, you know what? The Ronin 99 just made a great point.
Went
from 0 joint practices in Allen Park to 2 now.
Yes.
There are going to be 2 teams there, joint practice. That'll be the week to go.
Which team would you rather see? I think it's the Giants and the Jags?
I'd rather see the Jags.
Same.
I'd rather see the Jags. I want to see what those guys do. That secondary we're so hyped for does in practice against Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram, that assortment of receivers that the Jags, Travis Etienne coming out of the backfield.
Yep. Do you know what's
That's what I'm
we beat them by
for.
like 30 last year too.
Yeah,
so
we
that's going to
clapped
be
the Jags.
Yeah,
That's what I said when we originally got this. Is these are 2 teams where the Lions are trying to get to, 2 teams that made the playoffs and won a playoff game last year, and two teams the Lions beat last year.
These are two teams with head coaches where Dan Campbell wasn't a finalist.
Yeah.
And, that made me mad.
Get hype.
Where Dan Campbell outcoached Doug Peterson and Brian Dable. Just because they both made the playoffs, Dan Campbell beat one team by 30 and then went on the road and beat the other team.
Yeah.
He's bringing them in Detroit. He's bringing them to Allen Park and saying, I'm going to –
What's he saying, Booner?
I'm not going to say
What's
what I want.
he saying?
No,
say it.
No.
Let it go. I can't do it. Heavyweights. Fucking let it go.
All right. I was just saying, he's going to rub his, all over
his
him.
Dick.
Yes, let it come. And he's going to let him know, listen, I should have been in that award. Maybe I shouldn't have won it. I should have been a finalist. And he brought those guys back. He knows Dan Campbell quietly knows what he's doing.
Oh, yeah.
He's a very strategic guy.
Oh, yeah.
Drinking all those espressos and shots and everything.
Shots. Explosives. Shoom.
So nobody's excited about the kicker battle.
Nobody's excited about the kicker battle.
So I don't know why I got so
about the
pumped
shots.
up about the Coach of the Year
No,
award.
I like it.
Which he will win this year.
I like to see the Booner fire.
Thank you.
Dude, I got Dan Campbell winning Coach of the Year, and I got Jack Campbell winning Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Campbell Awards.
Campbell's Chunky
Campbell
Noodle.
soup. Ooh. Cheeks.
JB, how do you feel about those joint practices? Which one are you more excited for?
I really want to see the Jags because I think the Jags are going to be a team that everyone is watching out for, especially their success last year. So just seeing how they work in these little mini practices probably, could influence the Lions a little bit on some things that they might need to work on, or see some things that they can add to their, skill set. So give me the Jags on this one, man.
I like it. Chris, would you have a choice between the two?
Oh, it's the Jags easily. It's the Jags easily. That we did to them what Carolina did to us, and so even though it's a joint practice and it's not a game on the schedule, they're gonna come ready. They're gonna look for some revenge. They got to be salty the way that game went for them last year. So I want to see that game, and not to mention that's just the more interesting team with the better quarterback.
I like it. And we're gonna get into more about this. Obviously, we got a lot of Lions talk. Our guy, Lions beat reporter Matt Broder, is gonna be on next segment to talk about some OTAs. But first, let me tell you guys about Guardian Alarm, because Guardian Alarm offers you customized solutions from real experts. Their professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. They also have 24/7 professional monitoring. Call anytime, day or night, and know a Guardian Alarm team member will be on the phone as long as needed. And of course, they have technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work and people who have been proven to care. So call them at 1-800. That's 1-800.
Stay out
right now, and let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Since the dawn of moving people, Chevrolet has led the way. The world of transportation is changing. At Feldman Chevrolet, we are leading the charge forward. With every electric vehicle, every mile traveled, one Feldman at a time. The company that puts more Chevys on Michigan roads is now the #1 name for Chevy electric vehicles.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on the audio platforms, leave a 5-star review. For the man to my left, the one and only Booner, Chris Platty in the TD booth, JB Smooth on the ones and twos. I am Spencer Axter, and for this segment and this segment alone, we are joined by a special guest in the Maz chair, the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Broder.
Let's go.
Fresh off his first week of OTAs.
What's up, boys? How we doing?
Doing good. How you feeling, brother?
Dude, I'm feeling so good. It was fun down there yesterday.
Yeah.
We got a lot that came out of that camp.
So first, give me your 1,000-foot view. First impressions of OTAs. What stood out the most?
Energy. It all started with Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn in the press conferences before. You're kind of sensing this pent-up energy with the team, and they were talking about that with a lot of the new players. Then once we got out onto the field, we could see just that. The players were jumping around everywhere. It was fun. It was fun. They all seem ready to go. They want the season to be here probably earlier than we do.
That's for sure. And I think did a whole 2-page report on your takeaways from camp. And one of the things that stood out to me the most was your comments on Jack Campbell and how he looked out there. You said he was a heat-seeking missile, didn't look like a rookie. What was Jack Campbell doing out there that just made your eyes glued to him?
You know, as I was down there, there's not a ton you can take from the big guys in the trenches just without being full contact, without there being tackling. But when I started watching Jack Campbell a little closer, it seemed like anywhere the ball was, he was right there with it.
Yeah.
Like, he was just one of those players who, he looks the part. I think I had in my notes that he doesn't look like a rookie. You know, he's 6'5", 250. He looks that big out on the field. And to see him chase down a running back like Jamar Jefferson, there was a play where, you know, after the whistle, Jamar Jefferson kept the play going, running sort of across the field to the other end zone. Jack Campbell didn't want to get beat. He was right with him every step of the way. So to just see him in how he approaches practice, you can tell he's got those instincts that don't show up on a stat sheet.
What about like his leadership? I know it's hard to be a leader as a rookie, especially in this. It's his first year in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's going into a room where they just paid a guy in Anzalone who was their captain last year, called the plays for them. Have you seen any hints of that, of him just like leading by example, or is he talking to the guys, talking to the defense, different things like that?
You know, I didn't see it as much yesterday as I did in the rookie mini camps, where he was clearly the leader and he took that role from the start. My guess is, with all the veterans in there now and all the big personalities, especially in the secondary, he maybe took a back seat and is taking this opportunity to learn from them. Like you said, Alex Anzalone signed a 3-year deal in the offseason, and the coaches really believe in Anzalone as being the leader of that unit. But saying that, they know Jack Campbell's coming.
Yeah.
They made a comment. Jack Campbell, Derek Barnes, Rodrigo, like it's time to go.
Hell yeah.
I think that's interesting too, because they just re-signed Anzalone to a 3-year deal. We were talking about that before, and now you have that, and you have Jack Campbell. Like, if Jack Campbell is the leader and the guy that we keep talking about, you're going to have 2 guys that are like green dot guys that are there that can really step up on this defense, which is like, that is a dream to have on a contending team. It's 2 linebackers that can lead a team, like be the heart of that defense. I do want to ask a question too on the other side of the ball, and I saw it in the notes here, but I want to hear it from you. Is outside of Amon-Ra and J-Mo, kind of on that receiving core with Antoine Green and Josh Reynolds, what did you take out of that? Like, was Antoine Green, like, did he stand out to you at all? Because like J-Mo's gone for 6 games, 7 games or whatever it is. Are we gonna be fine? Like, can you tell Lions fans like you're good for 6 weeks?
I think we're gonna be fine because I'm a Josh Reynolds fan. Antoine Green, when practice started, he was getting reps with the first team. I didn't see him catch any balls, but I was just watching sort of how he moved around out there, and he definitely looks the part. I think he's 6'2", maybe 200 pounds. He looked like one of the bigger guys out there, different than when he was in his press conference, you know, in street clothes. He just looks good in pads. I think Josh Reynolds was one of those guys. You could tell the chemistry that he has with Jared Goff from their time playing together back in Los Angeles. He definitely looks for him in the open spots, especially when Jamison Williams isn't there. Amon-Ra is definitely the star of that group, but Marvin Jones, he's the leader of that group. Marvin Jones and Amon-Ra St. Brown were going so hard in the individual drills, in their wide receiver group drills. You could see each of the wide receivers behind them, including Tom Kennedy, including, you know, Keaton Johnson was there on Thursday just after training camp. He got released, but you could see the younger guys follow along. So, you know, having a guy like Josh Reynolds, who your quarterback is comfortable with, I think that's just as important as anything.
Yeah.
He's not as sexy as DeAndre Hopkins, but if it ends up being Josh Reynolds as your 3rd, 4th, 5th guy for the season, I don't think it's a bad thing.
Yeah, he could definitely make some plays. We've seen him do it before in a limited role like that. But another guy that is making plays and another guy that brings some energy is Jahmyr Gibbs. And you made a lot of points about him in your rundown about playing all over the field, looking explosive. Can you dive into that a little bit more about what Jahmyr Gibbs is looking like out there?
Yeah, both in the team drills and the individual drills. You can see how talented he is just with his footwork, with his speed. Like, his cuts in drills and on the field with the defense they were razor sharp. And he's one of those guys, he can catch the ball out of the backfield or from the slot, even from an X or Y receiver position. wherever he catches it, if he gets around that first defender, he could take it to the house. So he was impressive. I mean, he's everything. He looked everything like we thought when we're watching these highlights of him being drafted.
Yeah.
He's going to be a defensive coordinator's nightmare.
Hell yeah. That's
like
what I like to hear.
That's what I expect out of him, is like to just be a completely like the worst defensive matchup anywhere. Like you could have Montgomery on the field with him, have him in the slot, and no one's going to know what's going to happen. And defenses are like, that's scary when you have Amon-Ra, Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs. You have J-Mo when he's back, even a Marvin Jones. Like, that's what I'm excited to see in training camp too, and kind of moving forward at OTAs. Like,
and the Lions
those guys on the field.
The Lions have the best play action quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Like, they're going to be able to do things to make runs look like passes and passes look like runs. Like, a defensive coordinator's nightmare. It's going to be wild.
And we're missing someone that they have. They have Ben Johnson, who he came back to come win the Super Bowl. I'm convinced. He's going to have a field day with these weapons. Like, he is going to have so many different schemes and plays he can have drawn up. You guys said it yesterday. It was like the double reverse, triple reverse with Jameson Williams when he comes back. Like, he will be able to do whatever he wants with these guys. I'm excited to see kind of in training camp too what they're kind of cooking up, the different players that they're putting out there together, the matchups. Like,
yeah.
Honestly, and this is a personal hot take, and we'll get back to the real analysis, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see Penei Sewell and even Aiden Hutchins catch some balls out of the backfield.
Oh,
I know there's some rules in place where they got to be, you have to be off the line of scrimmage for 3 straight plays, but you look at the versatility that they've added to the offensive linemen. I don't know. They could be doing some wild things.
You know what? I mean, T.J. Watt caught a couple touchdowns and packages at the goal line, so I wouldn't be too mad about that. He's shown he got hands at those interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, Penei can make plays, bro. He is one of the best. He's 1 for 1. He hasn't dropped a pass yet. But you know what I hate at Ford Field, or I guess it's probably every NFL stadium, is when guys like that line up on the ball or line up, that the ref turns the mic on and he's like,
eligible receiver.
Number 58. Right.
58 is eligible.
Like, do we have to do that?
Bro, yeah.
Like, let them figure that out. That's part of they're paid millions to figure and see these things. Let them figure that out themselves.
And one thing I wanted to ask you, Broder, is I was talking about matchups that I watched last year, and one of the matchups that got really intense at a couple of the training camps I was at last year was Amon-Ra St. Brown going at it with Jeff Okudah, straight up head to head, because Amon-Ra St. Brown, fucking Energizer Bunny, like you said, always giving 100%, going at it, talks shit, gets into fights. Like, he's going to be the one that's scrapping at practice. And with Jeff Okudah, who's more of a mild-mannered guy, he's not going to do that. They almost came to blows at practice last year. Now I want to see him going against Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who has that same energy, that he's not backing down. He's talking shit. So what could you say about Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, and what did he bring to OTAs?
I think he's everything you just said. He's that firework from in the back end of the second, or wherever he's playing. He's going to be playing nickel a lot. That's what Aaron Glenn said in his press conference. He's going to be playing nickel and safety, but he was the guy who was bouncing around the most. He's like Kirby Joseph on steroids. He was just back there. Anytime the defense made a play, number 2 was around, and he was pumping the team up, making sure the offense was nowhere to be seen. He's every bit of a leader as we think he is. It's going to be a freaking blast watching him.
That top 3 secondary.
It is. And they all, we talk about guys that have that dog in them a lot. Like, that's a phrase we use a lot and continues to be maybe overused, but all the guys in the secondary have that dog in them.
Yeah.
From Chauncey Gardner-Johnson to Jerry Jacobs and Tracy Walker. Tracy Walker's coming back. He's going to be ready for training camp, and he's one of those that I'm really excited to see.
Yeah, me too. That's one thing, is you put it in your notes, he wasn't 100% exactly, but he was still looking fluid, and he was taking apart of drills. So I'm excited to see that. And you said he's doing a lot with mentoring Kirby Joseph as his little brother, he called him.
Yeah, and he's taking all these signings as almost as a challenge. Another reporter asked him what I forget the exact question, but Aaron Glenn had just proclaimed Chauncey Gardner-Johnson a leader, and they've got all these new leaders and team captains coming in, and Tracy Walker stood there and was like, I'm a leader too. Like, I am the leader of this defense, this secondary. So he's not backing out. He said, I forget the exact quote, but he just took it as, I just got more ballers to play with.
Yeah.
Like that, something like that I got goosebumps right now.
You have that many more leaders. Like Tracy Walker was your leader on this defense the last couple years, right? You just added another one and Cam Sutton on like you can never have too many leaders. It's not like, oh, this one guy's our leader. No, it's like you could have multiple guys and it makes you that much better. Like look at Super Bowl rosters. They just have a bunch of leaders in the secondary or on that defense, a linebacker that's legit that can lead, a safety that can, a corner. Like we have that now. We have all of these leaders. It's not about, oh, who's the one leader on this team? No, we're full of leaders, of veterans, of guys who want to make each other better. And that gets me pumped up because if you're making each other better in OTAs every single day or even just like off the field, these guys are going to build such a rapport to where by the end of the season going into the playoffs, they're going to be like this. Like they're going to be so tight. That's that top. I'm going to keep saying it. The top 3 secondary in the NFL.
Oh yeah.
And that leadership is at each level of the defense.
Yes.
I mean, we're talking about the secondary. We just got done talking about Anzalone and Jack Campbell. And then you have Buggs and Comiskey that are on the defensive front with Aiden Hutchinson and Ali McNeil. And I don't know what type of leadership abilities James Houston has, but these up-and-coming guys, they've got that veteran leader to rally around, and they can use that energy and fly.
Yeah. Broder, before we let you get out of here, I want you to tell us what you're most excited about with covering the Lions this year for your first time and where people can find your articles and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about sort of the second string guy, the second team guys. Obviously, I'm going to be covering all the first team, everybody on the team, but really now learning the stories of how these guys got to the Lions, got to the NFL, what their role is going to be in this offense and defense that we're all so excited about. I'm really excited to take that next level in my reporting on the Lions.
Oh, yeah.
All my articles are posted on woodwardsportsnetwork.com, and probably the best way to find me elsewhere is on Twitter at MattBro21.
Hell yeah.
So I appreciate you guys for having me on. This was a blast.
No, I appreciate you, man. You're going to kill it this year. I'm really excited to see what you do.
It.
We're all going to kill it.
Great articles, too. He put some good work out.
Oh, yeah. Great articles. Great articles. Make sure you check out anything Matt Broder puts out there or anything Woodward Sports put out there in general on woodwardsports.com. But we got to go to break, but first let me tell you guys about Big Boy because Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. Try the classic breakfast items like some strawberry hotcakes or mouth-watering red velvet waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try the strawberry bacon chicken wrap or cool off with the refreshing summer splash salad. And don't forget to grab dessert, including their berry delicious classic strawberry pie, deep fried vanilla Oreos, or strawberry hot fudge cake, and more at Big Boy.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Krogers, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. For the man to my left, the one and only Booner, filling in for Easy. I am Spencer Raxter. We got Chris Platty on the TD booth and JB Smooth in the 1s and 2s. We just had our Lions beat reporter Matt Broder in the Maz chair. Just some great stuff. Great stuff out of him. I'm
great
excited
stuff
for the guy.
in the Maz chair. Maz Jr.
You're
Shout
Maz
out.
Jr.
I've self-proclaimed myself Maz Jr.
Yeah, I know.
About During football season, I did that.
I know you have. So I don't understand it, but I know you have. We've talked about today already a lot of them rebuilding the secondary, revamping the secondary, how it's looking like now with the additions of Cam Sutton, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Emmanuel Mosley, stuff like that. We've also talked about David Montgomery and what he brings to this offense. I believe him as a huge upgrade over Jamal Williams. I don't know if you share those same sentiments, but how do you feel about that?
And I completely agree. I think he's a more dynamic back, quicker out of the backfield. We saw just his highlights as soon as we've seen him playing up against us for the last 2 or 3 years, but we can see the plays he makes compared to Jamal. Like, he can get out in open field and make a move and break off.
Yeah.
Like, Jamal really couldn't do that. He was more of a power back that could, get out in open field, but he would probably get caught. So I do think. And I was thinking about this the other day too, is that's a guy I think kind of filling in that Jamal spot to where you see like a David Montgomery getting like a 12 touchdown season just based off of taking that spot there from Jamal Williams. And I wouldn't be surprised too if Montgomery is sitting there with 1,100 rushing yards at the end of the season or 1,000 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns, and he's kind of in that Pro Bowl spot and we're kind of talk just based off of that. And I know it's like, oh, we have Jahmyr Gibbs, and people might put Jahmyr Gibbs as the number one back. I don't look at it like that at all. Because like the Jahmyr Gibbs thing is, you can put it like we've already talked about. You can move him around. I think he's like a more of a receiver out of the backfield for us. And Montgomery's going to be that guy where it's like we're pounding the rock with him. Like, we trust in him. He's going to be the guy out there on first down, getting the handoff and taking it for a 20-yard gain. So I think, honestly, 1,000 yards, 12 touchdowns, that's like my projection for him. And I think that is a great season for us. Side by side with Jahmyr Gibbs. I love that.
Yeah, so it's easy to say they made a lot of additions in this offseason that improved their team, that they made a lot of great signings and had a good offseason. But some people disagree with that. The folks over at ESPN. Chris, do you still have that graphic in there about the Lions and their
off-season?
Yeah, the off-season.
Let me grab that. It'll give me 2 seconds.
Motherfucker. No, I'm just kidding.
Those guys over at ESPN.
The guys at ESPN did not like the Lions offseason. They said it was 28th in the league. I don't understand where that comes from. We're getting the increase in production or getting a better player in David Montgomery over Jamal Williams. Getting the interception leader, one of the best players, one of the best secondary members, if not the best secondary player on the market in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Getting a top 3 corner on the market in Cam Sutton. And I don't know if they're just strictly grading this off of a draft class they didn't like, but they said the Lions had a terrible offseason.
I mean, look at who they're surrounded with.
They above them is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who their big free agent signing was Baker fucking Mayfield.
And they lost their starting quarterback.
The Giants are all the way down there for, I don't know, I didn't think the Giants had too bad of an offseason either. They retained Saquon Barkley. They added Darren Waller. What is this? How can you explain this? Is there any way you can explain this? And what do you have to say to the people at ESPN, especially Bill Barnwell?
Yeah, that I went on his Twitter, by the way, too. Hate that guy. Don't know who he is. Hate him. He could take a hike. I don't care. But
strong words from Booner. He can take a hike.
He's not on the Booner train, that's for sure. Or the Woodward train. But in all seriousness, no, like, I wrote down I just had to look on it on paper. I wrote down all of our additions. And I guess, like, from the outside looking in, for us, we know what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes wanted to do this offseason. And there was times where in our draft, and anyone in this room or in the chat, you're a liar if you tell me when we took Jack Campbell and Jahmyr Gibbs, you weren't like, what is going on? So that is his initial thought. And I think that just stuck with him because I said it 100 times. I gave the Detroit Lions a draft grade of a B. And I think, and it's one of those things in kind of looking into the future, is by the end of the season, that draft grade is going to turn from a B straight to an A+. And it's good because
A+?
Yes, because you're going to have guys like Jack Campbell, who's going to be the best linebacker, one of the best rookie defenders in the league. You're going to have Jahmyr Gibbs, who has 1,000 all-purpose yards. You're going to have these guys, Brian Branch, who's eventually going to step in. I think they're looking at it short term where they're like, oh, they didn't really make a ton of moves that are like sexy moves. No, but if you look at it by the end of the season, every single one of these moves they made, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Cam Sutton, Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell.
Marvin Jones is a good sign.
Marvin Jones. They're all going to play a huge piece in a team that's going to take a huge step forward to win a division and hopefully win a playoff game. Yeah. And then that guy on Twitter, whoever his name is, Brad,
Bill Barnwell.
Bill, I almost said Bob. Bill, he's going to look back at that and just look stupid because it's going to, like, obviously right now, okay, maybe people around the country would be like, oh, yeah, Bill's right. No, but by the end of the season, that's going to look very stupid because all of these grades and all of these additions they've made are going to make probably the biggest impact out of any signings throughout the whole NFL.
Woo! Hot takes coming from Booner. JB, how you feeling about them being this low in the rankings for offseason?
I just don't understand what this guy is grading the Lions on. Honestly, it's just a hot take from whoever this ESPN writer is because it's got everyone talking about it. Hell, it's got us talking about it right now. I just don't understand how you can't see, as you all said, the secondary improved. You're going to get better from last year to now. Even though you're going to miss J-Mo for 6 games, he's still out there practicing right now with the team, getting the reps in, trying to combine all of this stuff into this OTAs and mini camps before he's not allowed to practice with the team. This team will be better. It will be. I don't know what I have to say to convince you, but it will be better than last year. It will be a step up and improvement. And this guy, I don't know. He's going to have, as Booner said, egg on his face once he realizes at the end of the season a huge mistake that he's put the Lions this low for a worse offseason to have.
Yeah, I don't see how it could be this bad of an offseason either. It kind of blows my mind. Like I said, they added the interception leader in Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. They added one of the best cornerbacks in free agency in Cam Sutton. They upgraded in running back by getting David Montgomery. They signed a very good offensive lineman in Graham Glasgow. They brought in a veteran receiver who is still capable of producing in Marvin Jones Jr. And then they had a draft where it's some people don't like it, some people love it. They like the guys they got. They had 14 guys with first round grades and got 4 of them. So I don't understand how you could have them this low. I understand if you don't like the draft, having them in the middle of the pack, maybe in the teens. But to be 28 or whatever they are, and it's kind of disgusting.
There's some people still out there in like national media, and we saw the guy the other day you guys talked about on the show, who still have that, like, when they see the Honolulu Blue, when they hear Detroit Lions, they just think of that same old Lions energy. And there's people out there like Louis Riddick who knows, like, and Dan Orlowski, obviously they're favor to Detroit maybe, but they know what they're talking about, and they're not going out there on their job trying to sound stupid. They know, and they break down these teams. I don't see how there's some people in the media, like on the ESPN, 28, was it 28th? Like, there is zero chance from what Brad Holmes did this offseason that you just had the 28th best offseason. That is the most ridiculous statement and, like, most same old Lions kind of talk that I've ever seen out of someone in the national media. Like, that's just him looking at the Honolulu Blue and going, I'm not even going to see who they took. Let's just put them in like 28, 25 to 30 range.
Yeah,
let's just throw them back there.
That's what it feels like.
And that's the same with that kid a couple days ago who had us going 1-5 in the NFC North. He didn't look at our roster at all.
Go off on him, Booner. Go off on him.
I don't know who his name is. John?
I don't remember his name either. Connor something, I think.
Come on these shows and tell us why you think they're going to go 1-5 in the NFC North, because that's the most ridiculous statement of all time. They went 5-1 last year in the NFC North. They're going to go 5-1 or 6-0 again. Like, you have them winning, what, 6 games? I mean, you just don't know football at that point. Like, you're not looking at the game and looking at the depth chart. You don't know who we added. You don't know what we did. You don't know anything about Dan Campbell, Aaron Glenn, and Ben Johnson if you're going to sit up there and tell me they're going to win 6 games next year.
Fuck yeah, Booner.
It's ridiculous.
Snap. Chris, how do you feel about this ranking of the Lions offseason?
I mean, you guys have said it mostly that it just feels like they just ran with the narrative of, you know, taking a linebacker and a running back are bad decisions in the first round, and that was just all of their grade. They didn't factor in improving the secondary, because anybody that you didn't even have to watch the Lions, you just had to literally look at the Lions roster last year and know that their weakness and their biggest weakness was the secondary. And for them to address it as strongly as they did in free agency, like you said, should at the very least put them in the teens. Like, taking your biggest weakness and turning it into potentially a top 5 strength of the team, that alone should put you, you know, middle of the pack for your offseason, even if you whiffed on the entire draft. And so I just feel like it's a lot of recency bias, and I do think this is the double-edged sword that comes with the Lions being where they're at and being the fan favorites. Is you do get these guys like Bill and that guy, what was his name the other day, that
Connor something. He's a YouTuber.
Connor something. And there was that Mason guy as well.
Oh, Mason. That's what it was. Yeah.
Mason. Like, you have these people that are just gonna go against the grain.
Kid name.
They're just going against the grain. They're just trying to be cool. They're trying to stick out. It's nothing really to it, because at the end of the day, nobody's gonna say anything when they're wrong. They're just gonna be like, I'm wrong, and move on. So it's just for clicks. It's all for attention. But I like this. It shows that the Lions are getting a lot of attention, because you have people wanting to go against the grain against them. When's the last time you had people going against the grain of the Lions? You didn't have to, because they were at the bottom of the league. Now you have people going against the grain. I love that shit.
Think about it too. Just take away every single team name in the NFL. Take away the colors, Honolulu blue, and just put rosters and coaching staff there, and just line them up right on all these pieces of paper. The Detroit Lions would be like, if you just looked at it and looked at like the year before, all of that, you're putting the Detroit Lions top 10 in the NFL. And there's people that are legit sitting here being like, they're going to win 5 games. They're 28th in the offseason. What are we really talking about here? You're just trying to have a hot take for next year, trying to look like, oh, the same old Lions. No, like shut up. We don't care.
Fuck yeah, Booner. Say it with your chest. And
if
the Lions do end up going 5-10, 5-12, which I don't think is going to happen, I'm going to need somebody to talk to. I might need Sam or SMA, which is the sports marketing agency. The sports marketing agency helps spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse. Their new podcast, This is the S Word, helps fight the stigma about seeking help. So if you or someone you know is struggling, head to thesportsma.com and get the help you deserve.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Walk into any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime, sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Let one of our talented, award-winning stylists make you look handsome and clean. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. If you're listening on an audio platform, leave a 5-star review. We just got done talking a lot of Lions, a lot of different things about the Lions, what's going on next year, and people talking shit. Now let's switch gears a little bit. Let's talk about some Pistons.
Let's do it.
I know you're a big basketball guy, as is our friend Chris Platty, as is JB, and as am I. So let's talk Kevin Ollie. Do you have that
Yes.
Instagram post from Kevin Ollie?
Of course I do. Why do you doubt me?
Real fast. Kevin Ollie posted today on his Instagram a selfie, and he said, "The prize won't be sent to you. You got to get it in person with your work ethic." As I close this chapter, I want to thank the OTE, which is Overtime Elite, the G League team that he was coaching, family, for always having my back. We don't get even, we elevate. So that sounds like he's going to be the head coach of the Detroit Pistons.
Was that a
that was today.
A zebra shirt though?
I don't know. But it sounds like he's going to be the head coach of the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
This is all speculative, obviously, as of right now. It has not been made official if he got the job or not. But saying a goodbye like that, it sounds like he got the job. Booner, if Kevin Ollie is named the head coach of the Detroit Pistons, how are you feeling?
To be honest, and I will be honest with all of you guys, I hate it. I personally, I don't like it. I feel like it just puts you back to where you were the last 8 years, just getting a guy to where I feel like when you do these coaching searches, especially when you have a young team like with Cade and Ivy, I personally want to go out and get a guy like Charles Lee who's young, who can still prove himself. And worst case scenario, 3 or 4 years, all right, we have to move on and we have to go get a dude like a Monty Williams because we're ready for that next step, or Charles Lee would be ready for it. But a guy like Kevin Ali he's had that coaching job in college, and he had success. He won a national championship. But if we're going to really break it down, he did inherit a UConn team that is always elite no matter what. I mean, there's years where they struggle, but by the time he left UConn, they had 2 losing seasons. He coached there for 6 years, went to 2 tournaments, and obviously won one with Shabazz Napier, a guy that he didn't recruit. So it's like, okay,
bless you, JB.
What are we doing here? What do we want to build in Detroit? We have these young guys, so we're just going to bring a guy in who had a little bit of success in college. I want to see a guy come from a championship coaching tree like Mike Budenholzer and like a Charles Lee, who is 38 years old and has his whole career in front of him, and he can build out his own legacy with us.
Mm-hmm.
Like a guy like Taylor Jenkins did with the Grizzlies, Darvin Ham's doing in the Lakers. Like, I want that in Detroit. I don't want an old head coming in from college and like it's like, oh, we should have just brought Calipari in because he had success in college. I don't want him. That's just me. That's how I feel about it. I mean, he was with Overtime Elite, and he was kind of like their skill developer, and that makes me just think too that if we bring him in, we're drafting a Thompson brother.
Chris?
Oof. Do not like that last part. But
am I wrong?
I mean, you could be right. You could be right. I mean, Troy Weaver, one thing if we are starting to see in his regime is connections are a thing with this man. Like, connections are important to him, whether it goes back to Jeremy Grant, to Kevin Ali, all of these people, his inner circle coaching candidates, he's always kind of had people that he trusts and bring them in and really fought hard for them. And that could be a detriment. But truthfully, we don't know, guys, until we see this man coach. Like, we can project, and I'm with you. I am not happy about this for many reasons. Like, he just screams to me a mid coach, and especially when you factor in like how many great college to pro coach jumps are there. There's not that many. There's not that many in NBA history. I mean, you can look at Detroit, you can look at Larry Brown for doing it, but outside of him, there's very few other coaches that really live up to that mantle. So Kevin Ali seems like a transition coach, and while this team may need another transition coach, I didn't want a transition coach. I wanted to go for an upswing, just like I want to do with the 5th pick in the draft. I think the Pistons are at a time where they need to take risks and make upswings, and I don't feel like Kevin Ali is it. And I also, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, but is this not kind of unprofessional, like on Kevin Ali's part? Like, wouldn't you just hold this post until you get the job?
Oh my gosh, that's a great point.
I don't see why he's putting it out there now. You know, it's not the end of the world. I'm not gonna, judge his character for it or anything, but it is just one of those things. Why would you even put that out there before it's even leaked, let alone confirmed that you're coaching the Detroit Pistons? Just seems a little weird to me.
Yeah.
Has he interviewed for any other positions?
I don't think so.
So I don't get why we're gonna sit here and hire a guy.
I think he has before.
Yeah,
just not this round.
Not this
round.
round. With all of these openings, he hasn't interviewed for anything but the Pistons, right?
No.
I don't understand why we're hiring a guy who is literally hasn't had any other interviews over a guy, Charles Lee, who was up for the Bucks job. Mm-hmm. He was up for the Toronto job. He was up probably for the Suns job at a point. He's been up for every job that is open. He is a hot market guy, and we have a potential. The fact that we have an interview with him shows he wants to come here.
Detroit was the only finalist for him.
Yeah, but the fact that they were in LA yesterday with him.
Yeah, no.
Do you know what I'm saying though? Like, why are they doing that?
I don't understand. I'm with Chris on that. Like, it does feel like another transitional guy. Like, it doesn't seem like Kevin Ali is going to be the guy that, he's going to change our franchise. He is going to lead us to the promised land. He is going to do that. That's not what I wanted out of this coaching hire. If this is what happens, because it hasn't been decided yet, it hasn't been made public yet that this is happening, but a lot of signs are pointing to Kevin Ali being the next coach of the Detroit Pistons. It's something that it's kind of disappointing to me. Obviously, we have to, if it happens, suck it up, see what the guy does, and back him. But I wanted someone who can help mold these guards. I wanted someone who can take Cade Cunningham and put him over the top and make him a superstar. I wanted someone who can unlock what Jaden Ivey did last year and make him a budding star in this NBA. Figure out what the fuck is going on with that clusterfuck front court and figure out who's going to get serious minutes and where, because there aren't you don't have enough time. Like, I know the NBA is a young team, but you're going to have to give Cade Cunningham a max contract. If you want to keep Jaden Ivey in 4 or 5 years, you're going to have to give him a max contract. So what? You have Kevin Ali as a transitional coach for 3 years and waste rookie contracts from this guy just to hand it off to somebody that you actually want, that'll actually take you to the promised land, is kind of stupid to me.
On top of that, let's be real, Spencer. When you draft a number 1 overall pick, you have 7 years.
Yes.
You have 7 years to prove to that star that you can build an environment that he wants to stay in, whether that's championship, whether that's money. Every star is different. But you have to build a quality franchise in 7 years. And let's be real, Cade is entering year 3 already. We're already almost halfway through the Cade Cunningham experience, believe it or not. And that's the truth of it, because by year 7, 8, that's a few years into their next contract. That's when stars can start to flirt and look at other
trades.
Demand trades. Look at other franchises. Team up with players that they formed relationships with the last few years in the NBA. That's what's at stake for Detroit. So Detroit doesn't have the luxury of affording another couple years of mediocrity. They need to prove something to Cade Cunningham now if they ever want to be something. That's just the truth of the matter.
Yeah, it's for sure. You need to do something now before these guys start getting uncomfortable with the situation.
think it's the biggest, like to Chris's point, you have a 7-year window, right? These guys that you draft like a number 1 pick, they kind of start really not peaking, but they start hitting that stride to where they, like, look at a Jason Tatum. It took him to year 3, year 4 to really get into that stride to where he's in the playoffs with the Celtics, him and Jaylen Brown. You have till this year coming up, year 4, year 5 with Cade Cunningham. This coach is the one that's supposed to have take you to that next level. And you're bringing a guy in that hasn't been on an NBA coaching staff the last couple years. Charles Lee has been on a coaching staff with Giannis, with Mike Budd, with Darvin Ham, with guys around the league that have taken that. He was there when they took that step with Giannis. Kevin Ali has not seen anyone take that step. He came into a UConn team where they already took that step, and he became the head coach to win a championship. And then as soon as that Shabazz left, they started going downhill. I want to see you bring in a coach like Charles Lee to really take that next step, because he's seen it in Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. He knows what it takes, and he knows what Cade needs to do it in Jaden Ivey. This is the biggest decision I think the Pistons are making, because right now we're in a current rebuild of 2 years. And I know it's been 10 years, but 2 years with this current one with Cade Cunningham. This is the biggest decision in that 2 year, in my opinion, because you have to make the right decision to take that next step in Cade Cunningham's career, or guess what? He's leaving after that 6 or 7 years because we didn't help him take that next step, and he wasn't able to help take us to the playoffs, which he's capable of, in my opinion. He could do that with a different franchise. We need to make the right decision so he can do that here and not somewhere else.
I agree. And let me offer one silver lining, though, that I just thought of that I want to bring up. Does this show, because, again, it was reported that Weaver was really at bat for Kevin Ali, really was impressed with Kevin Ali for whatever reason. I'm hoping we'll see when he starts coaching. But there was the whole Gores stepping in on the coaching hire and all of that. Does this show that Gores is still giving Troy Weaver control of the franchise and not being the owner that we maybe were thinking, where he's overstepping his bounds? Is that a plus? Because to me, that is a plus, even if I disagree with the hire.
Yeah, we'll see. It shows that Tom Gores has faith in his guy, that he believes in his guy and in the decisions he's going to make. So that could be a good thing going forward for sure. But we're going to go to break real quick. And when we get back, we're going to talk about Chris's newest draft prospect. He's going to break down somebody that the Pistons could be looking at 5. But first, JB, why don't you tell us about Randy Wise?
Not a problem. Hey, how would you like to see famous athletes like Jim Harbaugh, Darren McCarty, Braylon Edwards, and play golf with average Joes? Well, thanks to Randy Wise Automotive and Woodward Sports, you will be able to do just that. It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour. Make the wise choice and pay more attention to Woodward Sports. For more information, this is the
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. And if you're listening on the audio platform, leave a 5-star review. We just got done talking about Kevin Ali possibly being the next head coach for the Detroit Pistons. It's not official yet, but there's a lot of signs pointing that way.
Yeah.
Next, we have a breakdown from Chris
Yes,
of
we
a
do.
draft prospect that the Pistons could possibly be looking at 5. Chris, who are you looking at?
Well, I wanted to do someone they're starting to form some camps of this guy, and Jeff Iafredi is one of them of the Woodward Morning Show. He is big on Taylor Hendricks, and so I wanted to do a Taylor Hendricks deep dive, and I will throw up his stats right here as I go over them. So you can see that he averaged 15 points a game, 7 rebounds, 1 assist, basically a steal, and 2 blocks per game. Shot 39% from 3. And the fun fact about that is that he is very good in the catch and shoot, 39% from 3 in catch and shoot when guarded, and 41% when left open. So the dude is absolutely excellent as a three-point shooter, and 78% from the free throw line. And he is a 6'9" forward with a 7'3" wingspan, weighing 210 pounds. Look, this guy, you can argue that this is the best fit prospect for the Pistons in this entire draft. Like, when you just look at what was made to be on the Detroit Pistons roster right now, you would probably envision Taylor Hendricks. He is a 4/small ball 5, but that 4 can play very well next to Duren because of his high level of shooting. That is the one thing that you know you're going to get with him at the next level. You know you're going to get great three-point shooting from him, which projects to fit very well with Jalen Duren. Now, there is a little bit of concern when it comes to his footwork on his three-point shot, but I'm not concerned about that at all, because you look at the upper body and the release is smooth. It looks like one of the prettiest jump shots I've seen. So that's something that can be fixed very, very easily. The problems with this guy is that, you know, he is a little bit kind of wonky in the post. He's not really a post scorer or a post playmaker. He was in college, but I don't think that will translate to the NBA. So he's going to be very limited offensively other than three-point shooting. Again, he's going to be best as a pick and popper, and maybe even potentially coming off of some screens, which will be a really interesting thing to see if he can do that, because he can relocate and move and catch and shoot very well. So that's going to be his biggest strength. But he's also a very good shot blocker too. He does kind of chase shots from time to time. When I'm watching the film, it does look like he's one of those guys that will go for everything like Hassan Whiteside, and that oftentimes puts him out of positions. But he is a good weak side defender, and he is good on the perimeter as a good switch defender. I mean, this guy's ceiling, he could be an all-defense player. But the thing with him is that he just doesn't have, to me, the highest upside of the prospects that will be available for the Pistons at 5. He is the best fit, but he does not have the highest upside. He's going to be just a very typical, and I don't like using it because it's lazy, 3-and-D forward. And I think that while those are two very important commodities, the two most important commodities that the Pistons need, I don't necessarily think that he offers the highest upside of some of the other prospects. So the basement comp for him, to me, is really there isn't none, because I think he's going to just come in and be able to translate, and I don't see a world in which he just doesn't pan out as a decent role player at the very least. So my ground level 4 of what I expect him to be is somewhere along the lines of Trevor Ariza, PJ Washington, maybe even Jaden McDaniels at the worst. But his ceiling, if he can get creative with that dribble, which I'm not sold on yet, But if he can get creative with that dribble, I mean, you're talking Jeremy Grant. You're talking even Antoine Jameson. Like, he has a little bit of Antoine Jameson's jumper. That's a player that I very much loved back in the day. And maybe even if he figures it all out and puts it together, you're talking Jaren Jackson Jr. with more shot creation, which would be an absolute awesome player and an all-star. But I don't necessarily see that. That would be his absolute ceiling to me.
Yeah. You don't think that the log jam in that front court is going to deter them from drafting a player like this?
I mean, I don't think it should, because truth be told, I'm not high on a lot of the front court members that the Pistons have, despite that being half the Pistons roster right now. I'm not too high on a lot of those. I think he would just very much fit well with Jalen Duren, and I think he's kind of what you want Isaiah Stewart to be, a better version of that, maybe even right away. So I like his fit with the team, but again, it's just, do you want the guy that fits this team perfectly, or do you want to swing for the fences and take that high upside? And do you believe in it? But I personally, I don't like his dribbling. His ball handling has a long way to go. So I just find it hard to believe that he'll ever be able to create his own shot in the playoffs when it matters.
That was my question. I mean, I watched some of his film last week a little bit, and to me, the biggest need for the Pistons is like a wing, like a 6'8". Like to me, when you look at the NBA right now, it's loaded with like star wings, like a Kevin Durant, LeBron James type guy. I'm convinced though that this guy, he is young enough and he has the potential to where he can develop into a wing, like a 6'9" wing. If he can develop to create his own shots, he has the jumper to be able to knock threes down on the wing, like a catch and shoot with Cade and Ivy out there. This was my favorite prospect at 5, personally. Mm-hmm. Like, I broke down some guys when we got 5. This was my number one. I loved him. Him and Cam Whitmore. I loved both of them, and the reason I kind of turned to him a little bit more is because I think he has more of a potential to be able to handle the ball as a wing instead of being just that straight 4 pick and roll or pick and pop type guy. I think he can be a guy to where you can put him on the wing and he can handle it, and maybe it might take a year or two, but he can develop if he's in the right position. If we bring in the right guy, maybe not like a Kevin Ollie, you can develop him into a wing that can make plays for you and be that guy that dominates in the NBA right now.
So that's our biggest difference, is just you believing in the ball handling and shot creation, and I don't. Like, if he does that, I agree with you. I mean, the dude is an absolute home run, and he's my number 2 as far as who the Pistons should take at 5. I was going to say,
where would he be in
he's number 2, behind Cam Whitmore.
But the thing is with that is, like, I know, like, okay, like, that is the thing that he still needs to work on his ball handling. But right now, the one thing he can do and shoots 40% from is 3-point, right? A 3-point land. Mm-hmm. That's what we need, is a guy on the wing that can just knock down a 3. Yeah. And not even just a 4. Like, put him out there, you know, with Bagley or something at the 4. You could still put him on the wing. He is good enough to be able to go out there and knock threes down. To me, better than Isaiah Livers, to where he can go out there and be a better Isaiah Livers, and he can play that wing spot, and you can develop him, and he has the skill set and kind of that raw ability to go out there and learn how to, like, okay, I'm going to throw out a name here. I'm not saying he can be him, but I'm saying the type of player to where Kevin Durant could take the ball and go out and make his own shot. Give him a skill set for the next 3 or 4 years, and let him make plays with Cade and Ivy.
Yeah, it's exactly what the Pistons need, is a defender who can knock down threes. Somebody on that wing that you know will be able to hit the shot when it's kicked to him. Somebody who can, like you said, I liked your comps of Jeremy Grant, Antoine Jameson, a guy who could play the 3 or the 4, guard multiple positions, be out there with a guy like Jalen Duren, and you can have Jalen Duren at that center spot and have the other big kind of leaked out, because you have to be aware of him on the outside. You have to be aware of him knocking down the 3 ball, and that is the most important thing to me that the Pistons need on this team. Obviously, everybody knows they need defense and they need 3-point shooting, and you need a guy who can play 4 and consistently knock down 3-point shots. And I'm not saying it has to be a 7-footer. Like, I don't know what Troy Weaver is so in love with a 7'4". Like, I'd rather have a 4 that can guard 3 and 4 between this, 6'7" to 6'10" guy that can move, that has lateral quickness and can hit jump shots. So if that's what this guy is, if you're telling me he's going to be Jeremy Grant, then I say draft him.
Yeah, Spencer, I'm telling you, this guy can come off screens and catch and shoot. Like, he's not just going to be a guy that you just stand in the corner and he hits 40% of his threes, which would be great. Pistons need that, but he can even do more than that. He can be a flare screen.
Play offense towards him.
Yes,
yeah.
And the only thing is that he just can't create off the dribble. When you have two great passers like Cade and Ivy, it is an absolute great fit. To me, it would just come down to the ceiling and how much you believe in him and his development. If you think that he can reach closer to his ceiling, then I would have no problem with him being the pick at number 5. He's, like I said, he's second on my board just because I believe the upside of Whitmore is higher.
Yeah, I like it.
Do you think he's like a I just thought of this, like a step down from like a Brandon Miller type, because that's kind of a similar style player, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean,
Brandon Miller's more of a playmaker.
Yeah, Brandon Miller's the playmaking. So I'd say like kind of a drastic step down, because at the end of the day, this guy did only average an assist a game. But I do think what's getting lost in this draft is this draft has so many good 3-and-D wings and just athletic freaks that I feel like guys like Taylor Hendricks is a little more athletic than you would think, because he's getting lost next to the Thompson twins and Cam Whitmore and these super duper 0.1% athletes, that he's actually pretty athletic. This is a good draft class for 3-point shooting and defense, and those are two things that the Pistons need.
Yeah, it's for sure. Two things the Pistons need in spades is shooting and defense. So,
off-ball play.
Yeah, we'll see. We got the ball handlers, and we got a center. Now we need some wings.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens with this draft. But Chris, great job. Well done. Again, very, very good job. I like that a lot. You kind of swayed me on him a little bit. Maybe even over Whitmore. I'm not going to lie. But we'll see when you do your Whitmore breakdown.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
But we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. Filling in for Easy is the one and only Booner. I am Spencer Raxter. We got Chris Platty in the TD booth and JB Smooth on the ones and twos. It's the last segment before the weekend, and we know it's a long weekend, Memorial Day, so make sure you guys be safe out there, but have fun at the same time and enjoy the day. Chris just got done having a great breakdown of one of his most favorite prospects for the Pistons at 5, and now let's pivot a little bit back to the Lions, because there were a couple things we just didn't get to touch on in the beginning. And one of them, I think this would be a good one to send out the show. Booner, we've talked about this in spades, me and Easy and Chris and JB, but I want to hear some from you. What do the Lions have to do next year to kind of put the SOL tag to bed?
That I had just had that rant earlier too on the show about the SOL thing. So when I first saw this on the prep, the first thing that popped in my head was I feel like the only thing this year to get the SOL out of like just completely gone, and it's going to be crazy to say, but it's to go to the Super Bowl. Because what I mean by that is the SOL is going to be around for at least like until you have success for multiple years and put back-to-back years together, you're always going to hear SOL. And that's just my opinion. Like we saw it with the national media earlier in the show with these guys that want to, make us go 1-5 in the NFC North and just look like idiots. Like, that is what the SOL is going to be. Even after you finish 8-2 in the season, you're going to see it. So to me, you can go win the North, which I think we will do. You can go win a playoff game and host a playoff game and make a little bit of a run. But I think you're still always going to hear that, oh, the same old Lions, they just had that 1 year. Just like when we had Stafford and Kelvin. Oh, they just got to the playoffs. Like, oh, we just had that 1 year. They're going to be right back to SOL next year. I think it's completely, obviously we know here in Detroit it's different, but from an outside perspective, I think you have to put 2 or 3 or 4 years back to back to back of dominating the NFC North. And they're doing that. Like Brad Holmes is building a team to do so. I think that's what you need to do. You need to go win the NFC North 3 out of the next 4 years. You need to, you know what I mean? Like you have to do, like I saw the graphic the other day of the teams that have won their division, and the Vikings are so high up there.
Yeah.
They've just consistently have won it with the Packers. That's what the Lions need to do the next 4 years. Aaron Rodgers gone. We all hate him. I hate him. I hope he never comes back. I hope this is his last season. But go win the NFC North the next 3 or 4 years, and then the SOL is completely gone. No one can say anything else. We have a new owner. We have a new GM, new culture, everything. Let's move on from all of that and just ball out the next 2 or 3 years. That's how I feel about it. I think it's going to be here next year no matter what, unless we go to the NFC Championship game, go to the Super Bowl. But outside of that, I think it's going to be here for a little bit longer.
Okay, I like that. JB, do you have any ways? I mean, you got them going to the Super Bowl, so that would be getting rid of that SOL tag right there. But do they need to do more than that? What can they do to get rid of that SOL tag next year?
Well,
or can they?
Well, they definitely can. But as Adam said in the morning show, we got to crawl before we can walk. I know Super Bowl is my huge ceiling for them, which I definitely want to see them there. But first, win the division. Beat your division rivals right now. And then we can talk about moving up. Then it's the conference championships. Then we can talk about Super Bowl. So we got to learn to crawl before we can walk. And Adam brought this up too as well, which I don't want to put a damper on our final segment, but what's something that you can see the Lions having a terrible season? If they did have a terrible season, what's one reason that you could see be that?
Jared Goff getting injured.
Well, besides an injury, what do you think?
I don't know. Just total collapse, utter
like
failure. I can't really see, other than a catastrophic injury, there's not much that I could be like, yeah, this is why they're going to lose.
Mental mistakes, maybe Dan Campbell not being a great coach this season. You know, Ben Johnson, the plays aren't working for him. As you said, Jared Goff, injury or just throwing multiple interceptions. Like, it's an endless possibilities, but I don't see any of that actually happening, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, all right, I'm with you.
I've got one more thing too on that. Do you remember last year the Vikings game? Like, obviously we started 1-6, but one of the things that like everyone always talks about with same old Lions is like, 1, the refs are against us, and 2, like coaches make bad calls. We have like just stupid mistakes that happen, and that's when you really start to hear the SOL stuff, like the Dan Campbell situation with the field goal and the Vikings, the Chicago Bears timeout, all of that. That is going to be huge this year for the SOL narrative, because if Dan Campbell, and no one's really talked about this yet, I was thinking about it today. If Dan Campbell goes into the season and we're competing in these games and he makes like 1 or 2, like even it could be a minor mistake, but it costs you a game. We had that conversation
Spotlight's
earlier this year.
gonna be on him.
Yes, and that's when that SOL narrative starts to really come out. If you can get through this season and dominate, win the NFC North, and Dan Campbell has none of that this year, that's when it starts creeping away. And like, you just had a season like a contender. Like, you didn't have any issues. You showed you can compete. The culture's on track. Everything's on track. Everything's just completely uphill.
Yeah, that's for sure. But that'll do it for us today. We appreciate you all tapping in to the Woodward Heavyweights live on woodwardsports.com. Make sure you like and share the stream. Booner, appreciate you filling in. You did a great job, man. For Chris Platty, for JB, I am Spencer Raxter. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, a Memorial Day, the long weekend, and spend it with your family. Have a good time. Remember what it's all about, the heroes who lost their lives fighting for this country. So thank you again. Enjoy the weekend. Have a good time, and we'll see you guys on Tuesday. Best of on Monday. Peace.